Shalom, shalom, Shaul Dog here once again with your weekly drosh. You realize we're almost done? Yeah, we're almost done with the whole Torah. This is Parashah 50, Tavo, when you come. And this is verse 26, or chapter 26, verse 1 through chapter 29, verse 8. There's a lot of reading here, so I think I might just do it MJM style, Messianic Jewish Moment style. If you haven't heard the Messianic Jewish Moment, it's a weekly podcast I do over at Libsyn.com. It's at 4 Yeshua, numeral 4, Yeshua.Libsyn.com. It's at the end of the video here. So, but basically, I just read through the scripture, pause, and, you know, make a statement about what it's saying and everything else, and then just continue reading. So, there's a lot of reading here. And, well, let's just get to it, because I don't want this video to be, like, super long. Excuse me. So, here we go. When you have come to the land Yahweh your God is giving you as your inheritance, take possession of it and settled there. You are to take the first fruits of all the crops your ground yields, which you will harvest from your land that Yahweh your God is giving you. See, this is very important to hear, okay? Very important, especially for you Christians out there, okay, and you people in Messianic synagogues and everybody else who has who believes the tithe doctrine, okay? Just listen to this, okay? Put them in a basket and go to the place where Yahweh your God will choose to have his name live. You will approach the Cohen holding office at the time and say to him, today I declare to Yahweh your God that I have come to the land Yahweh swore to our ancestors that he would give us. The Cohen will take the basket from your hand and put it down in front of the altar of Yahweh your God. Okay? Then, in the presence of Yahweh your God, you are to say, my ancestor was a nomad from Aram. Excuse me. Lasagna talking to me. But he went down to Egypt, few in number, and stayed. There he became a great, strong, populous nation. But the Egyptians treated us badly. They oppressed us and imposed harsh slavery on us. So we cried out to Yahweh, the God of our ancestors. Yahweh heard us and saw our misery, toil, and oppression. And Yahweh brought us out of Egypt with a strong hand and a stretched out arm. See, that's the Messiah Emmanuel. Okay, that is his arm. Okay, the Messiah is the one who freed him. With a great terror and with signs and wonders, now he has brought us to this place and given us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Therefore, as you see, I have now brought the first fruits of the land which you, Yahweh, have given me. You are then to put the basket down before Yahweh your God, prostrate yourself before Yahweh your God, and then take joy in all the good that Yahweh your God has given you. Your household, the Levi, and the foreigner living with you. See, the Gentiles are included in this, okay? After you have separated a tenth of the crops, now listen, okay? After you have separated a tenth of the crops yielded in the third year, the year of separating a tenth, and then giving it to the Levi, however you want to say it. I get so much flack from all kinds of different people saying, oh, it should be Levi, should be Levi, it should be Levi. So, there you go. So, I'm just going to say Levi. But giving it to the Levi, the foreigner, the orphan, and the widow. Okay, now see, let's just start on this verse again, verse 12. After you have separated a tenth of the crops yielded in the third year, the year of separating a tenth, and have given it to the Levi, the foreigner, the orphan, and the widow, so that they can have enough food to satisfy them while staying with you, you are to say in the presence of Yahweh your God, I have rid my house of the things set aside for Yahweh and given them to the Levi, the foreigner, the orphan, and the widow, in keeping with every one of the mitzvot you gave me. I haven't disobeyed any of your mitzvot or forgotten them. I haven't eaten any of this food when mourning. I haven't put any of it aside when unclean, nor have I given any of it for the dead. I have listened to what Yahweh my God has said, and I have done everything you ordered me to do. Look out from your holy dwelling place from heaven and bless your people Yisrael and the land you gave us, as you swore to our ancestors, a land flowing with milk and honey. Well, tithe means 10, okay? And, you see, the tithe is brought to the Levitical priest. It's not brought to a pastor. It's not brought to a rabbi. It's brought to the Levitical priest, okay? And the Levitical priest is the one who distributes it among the poor, the needy, the widows, the orphans, and everything else, okay? Now, if we know our scripture well enough, we know that we are a chosen generation, a royal Kohanim, a royal priesthood, okay? For the end of the days, okay? Are you with me? Now, we have taken that place of the Levi, of the Levitical priest, okay? We've taken that place, which means it's our duty to take care of the widow, take care of the orphan, take care of the needy, okay? Whatever comes into our storehouses, we're to distribute to whoever. That's how it works, okay? And if you read about the apostles and everything that they did, you would pretty much get that picture, okay? Today, Yahweh your God orders you to obey these laws and rulings. Therefore, you are to observe and obey them with all your heart, all your being. You are agreeing today that Yahweh is your God and that you will follow his ways, observe his laws, mitzvot, and rulings, and do what he says. In turn, Yahweh is agreeing today that you are his own unique treasure, as he promised you, that you are to observe all of his mitzvot, and he will raise you high above all the nations he has made in praise, reputation, and glory, and that, as he said, you will be a holy people for Yahweh your God. Okay, you want to know what the covenant is? The Torah is, the commands are the terms of the covenant. This is the covenant right here, in a nutshell, okay? Verse 16 to 19, okay? Today Yahweh your God orders you to obey these laws and rulings. Therefore you are to observe and obey them with all your heart and all your being. You are agreeing today, which means we're making an agreement. An agreement is a covenant, okay? It's a contract between two parties, okay? You are agreeing or making a covenant or pretty much accepting a contract today that Yahweh is your God and that you will follow his ways, observe his laws, mitzvot, and rulings, and do what he says, okay? In turn, okay, these are the terms of the covenant. Yahweh is agreeing today that you are his own unique treasure, as he promised you, and you are to observe all his mitzvah, and that he will raise you high above all the nations he has made in praise, reputation, and glory, and that, as he said, you will be a holy people for Yahweh your God. Okay, this is the two parts, the two sides, two agreements, two agreeing parties on this covenant. And this is a covenant right here. Okay? It's not the Torah. The Torah, the commands are the terms of the covenant. This right here sums it all up as what the covenant is. And you want to talk about a new covenant? It's this. Okay? It's this. My people decided to go whoring after other gods, and they pretty much reneged on their side of the contract, which makes the contract null and void, which means you tear the thing in half and say, it's done. That's the old covenant. But Yah loved us enough to give his only son. And when he gave his only son, he gave the blood from his only son. And when he gave the blood of his only son, that ratified a new covenant between us and him. That's how it works. Okay? Then Moshe and all the leaders of Israel gave orders to the people. They said, observe all the mitzvot I am giving you today. When you cross the yard into the land Yahweh your God is giving you, you are to set up large stones, put plaster on them, and after crossing over, write the Torah on them, every word, so that you can enter the land Yahweh your God is giving you, a land flowing with milk and honey, as Yahweh the God of your ancestors promised you. When you have crossed the Jordan, you are to set up these stones, as I am ordering you today, on Mount Ivel, and put plaster on them. There you are to erect an altar to Yahweh your God, an altar made of stones. You are not to use any iron tool on them, but are to build the altar of Yahweh your God of uncut stones. And you are to offer the burnt offerings on it to Yahweh your God. Now, see, in religion, there's something called an altar call, okay? Especially in Christianity. It's an altar call. Come up to the altar. Well, what building? I don't care if it's a synagogue, if it's a church, or whatever. I don't care what building it is. What building have you ever found that had an altar that met this specification? Not one. Not one. In Hebrew, bima actually means high place. Okay? And if you've read your Torah, you know that Yah speaks out against people and their high places, them building high places to serve their gods. Okay? We have to be mindful of this. Because the bima is a platform where the Torah is read from, okay? And usually behind it is where the altar is, okay? Also, you are to sacrifice peace offerings, eat there, and be joyful in the presence of Yahweh your God. You are to write on the stones all the words of this Torah very clearly, which means don't just say, okay, no, you're supposed to take your time and do it right, and so everybody can read it. So there's no mistaking it. There's no discrepancy, okay? Okay? Now, next Moshe and the Kohanim, who are Levi'im, spoke to all of Yisrael. They said, be quiet and listen, Yisrael. Today you have become the people of Yahweh, your God, which means the covenant was sealed. Okay? The covenant was sealed. The covenant was pretty much finalized at this time. Okay? You have become the people of Yahweh, your God. Okay? Therefore, you are to listen to Yah, what Yahweh, your God, says, and obey his mitzvot and laws, which I'm giving you today. Okay? Now, how many people are in religion right now? I don't care if it's Judaism. I don't care if it's Christianity or whatever. How many people actually say that they're one of Yah's people? Huh? How many of you say that you're one of Yah's people or God's people? How many? Pretty much everybody in religion says that they're one of God's little children, one of his people. But you see, there's 40 years of testing in the desert before these people even became close to being Yah's people. Okay? And it took the terms of the covenant and knowing the terms of the covenant and obeying and keeping the terms of the covenant for this covenant to be ratified and sealed and finalized. Okay? So that it was a binding covenant. You see? Now, this is bad news for pretty much every religion in the world. A curse on anyone who makes a carved or metal image, something Yahweh detests, the handiwork of a craftsman, and sets it up in secret. All the people are to respond by saying, Amen. A curse on anyone who dishonors his father or mother. All the people are to say, Amen. A curse on anyone who moves his neighbor's boundary marker. All the people are to say, Amen. A curse on anyone who causes a blind man to lose his way on the road. All people are to say, Amen. A curse on anyone who interferes with justice for the foreigner, orphan, or widow. All the people are to say, Amen. A curse on anyone who has sexual relations with his father's wife because he has violated his father's rights. All the people are to say, Amen. A curse on anyone who has had sexual relations with any kind of animal. All the people are to say, Amen. A curse on anyone who has sexual relations with his sister, no matter whether she is a daughter of his father or of his mother. All the people are to say, Amen. A curse on anyone who has sexual relations with his mother-in-law. All people are to say, Amen. A curse on anyone who secretly attacks a fellow member of the community. All the people are to say, Amen. A curse on anyone who accepts a bribe to kill an innocent person. All the people are to say, Amen. A curse on anyone who does not confirm the words of this Torah by putting them into practice. All the people are to say, Amen. Now, I hear people saying, well, there's no curse if you don't obey the commands. Right here, verse 26, it says so. A curse on anyone who does not conform to the words of this Torah by putting them into practice. All the people are to say Amen. A curse. Okay? So, we have Rabbinic Judaism that follows the Talmud, which is the law of the Pharisees, which is the law of man, not the law of Yah. Okay? They are not putting the Torah into practice. They are not doing any part of what it says to do here. Okay? We have the Christians who just flat out reject the commands of Yah, reject the Torah. They are not putting anything into, any of this into practice. Okay? A curse on anyone who does not conform to the words of this Torah or confirm the words of this Torah by putting them into practice. Putting them into practice means walking them out. Okay? It's not the hearers of what the Torah says, but the doers. You see? As the Apostle Paul said, sort of confirms what's written here now, isn't it? If you listen closely to what Yahweh your God says, observing and obeying all his mitzvah, which I'm giving you today, Yahweh your God will raise you high above all the nations on the earth, and all the following blessings will be yours in abundance if you will do what Yahweh your God says. Okay, here's the blessings now. A blessing on you in the city, a blessing on you in the countryside, a blessing on the fruit of your body, the fruit of your land, and the fruit of your livestock, the young of your cattle and flocks, a blessing on your grain basket and kneading bowl, a blessing on you when you go out in, a blessing on you when you come in. Yahweh will cause your enemies attacking you to be defeated before you. They will advance on you one way and flee before you 7 ways. Yahweh will order a blessing to be with you in your barns and in everything you undertake. He will bless you in the land Yahweh your God is giving you. Yahweh will establish you as a people separated out for himself, as he has sworn to you. If you will observe the mitzvah of Yahweh, which are the commands which the Christians disregard, and which my fellow Jews are disregarding by following the Talmud. Well, it says here, basically follow the Torah, okay? Yahweh will establish you as a people separated out for himself, set apart, as he has sworn to you, if you will observe the mitzvah of Yahweh your God and follow his ways, then all the people of the earth will see that Yahweh's name, his presence is with you, so that they will be afraid of you. Okay? Are you afraid of Christians? Are you afraid of rabbinic Jews? Are you afraid of even Muslims? Muslims say that Yah's with them, or their God, or whatever. They claim it's the same God. I'm not afraid of any of them. Okay? It's Yah working through us that causes fear in other people. Because the other people are actually being controlled by demons. And when they're controlled by demons, demons fear Yah. Okay? They fear Ruach HaKodesh. Okay? Yahweh will give you great abundance of good things. Of the fruit of your body, the fruit of your livestock, and the fruit of your land, and the land Yahweh swore to your ancestors to give you. Yahweh will open for you his good treasure, the sky, to give you your land, its rain, at the right seasons, and to bless everything you undertake. You'll lend to many nations and not borrow. Yahweh will make you the head and not the tail, and you will be only you will be only above, never below. If you will listen to, observe, and obey the mitzvah of Yahweh your God. And it's not the Talmud, okay? The oral Torah is a bunch of BS, okay? And not turn away from any of the words I am ordering you today, neither to the right nor to the left, to follow after other gods and serve them, okay? Just like going down the King's Highway. We won't turn to the right or to the left, and we're just going to keep going forward. That's pretty much what Yah said to do. On his highway, the King's Highway. But if you refuse to pay attention to what Yahweh your God says, Christians, rabbinic Jews, Messianic Jews, and do not observe and obey all his mitzvot and regulations which I am giving you today, then all the following curses will be yours in abundance. A curse on you in the city, a curse on you in the countryside, a curse on you and your grain basket and kneading bowl, a curse on the fruit of your body, the fruit of your land, and the young of your cattle and flocks, a curse on you when you come in, a curse on you when you go out. Yahweh will send on you curses, disasters, frustration, and everything you set out to do, until you are destroyed and quickly perish because of your evil actions in abandoning me. Okay, well, we see the situation of this world. We see the condition of this world right now. And it's it's not too bright now. It's not too bright of a future. Yahweh will bring on you a plague that will stay with you until he has exterminated you from the land you are entering in order to take possession of. Yahweh will strike you down with wasting diseases. Boy, you watch commercials all the time. And you watch TV and you see commercials all the time of this drug and that drug, this drug, that drug, for inflictions we never even heard of before. Okay? Are we starting to see a little similarity here? You know, little irony maybe. Fever, inflammation, fiery heat, drought, blasting winds, and mildew. They will pursue you until you perish. The sky over your head will be brass and the earth under you iron. Yahweh will turn the rain your land needs into powder, and the dust that will fall on you from the sky until you are destroyed. We had 10 years of a Great Depression, okay? And we're in the beginning stages of another Great Depression right now, okay? But if you were to study the history of the Great Depression, there were swarms of locusts coming down and eating everything that they could, handles off of shovels and rakes and stuff like that, fence posts and everything. Big dust bowls, dust storms even reached New York City. Okay? This is what we're going to see again. Okay? If you remember, the 1920s was full of decadence. It was full of self-absorption and just, revelry. And you see what you did to this country, okay? Well, we're starting to see the beginnings of it again. The sky over your head will be brass, earth under you like iron. The fields are going to be pretty much worthless, especially since Obama's trying to get rid of ammonium nitrate, fertilizer. Going to be very hard to get any kind of yield from any kind of crops. Yahweh your God will cause you to be defeated before your enemies. You will advance on them one way and flee from before them 7. You will become an object of horror to every kingdom on earth. Your carcasses will become food for all the birds in the air, the wild animals, and there will be no one to scare them away. Yahweh, okay, the birds in the air, the wild animals, okay, these are the demons. Okay, that's one of the many metaphors of it. It's the demons. Yahweh will strike you down with the boils that broke out on the Egyptians, tumors, skin lesions, and itching, all incurable. Yahweh will strike you with insanity, blindness, and utter confusion. You will grope about at noon like a blind person, groping in the dark, unable to find your way. See, this is spiritual blindness and spiritual darkness. You'll be continually oppressed and robbed. There will be no one to save you. You will get engaged to a woman, but another man will marry her. You will build a house and not live in it. You will plant a vineyard, but not use its fruit. Your ox will be slaughtered before your eyes. You won't eat any of its meat. Your donkey will be taken away from you by force. As you watch, you won't get it back. Your sheep will be given to your enemies, and there will be no one to help you. Your sons and daughters will be handed over to another people. We're seeing child services stealing kids today. You will watch for them longingly all day, but not see them. There will be nothing you can do about it. A nation unknown to you will eat the fruit of your land and labor. Yes, China's getting all kinds of imports from our country, including the fresh water from our Great Lakes. Yes, you will be continually oppressed and crushed until you go crazy from what your eyes have to see. Yahweh will strike you down in the knees and legs with painful and incurable boils. They will spread from the sole of your foot to the crown of your head. Yahweh will bring you and your king, whom you have put over yourselves, to a nation you have not known, neither you nor your ancestors, and there you will serve other gods made of wood and stone. You'll be so devastated as to become a proverb and a laughing stock among all the people to which Yahweh will drive you. You will carry much seed out of the field, but gather little in, because locusts will devour it. You will plant vineyards and dress them, but neither drink the wine nor gather the grapes, because the worms will eat them. You will have olive trees throughout your territory, but not anoint yourself with the oil, because your olives will fall off unripe. You will father sons and daughters, but they won't belong to you, because they will go into captivity. The bugs will inherit all your trees and the produce of your lands. The foreigner living with you will rise higher and higher, while you sink lower and lower. He will lend to you, but you will not lend to him. He will be the head, you be the tail. And we're seeing that happening too. You see, folks, I mean, all these things are happening now. You know, and we see what Yah said here, and we see what Moshe said here. We see what everybody was saying here. Obey the laws and the rulings of the mitzvah, basically. The commands of Yah. Obey it. Obey it and do what he says. Everything will go well. You know, I mean, all these curses will come on you by pursuing you and overtaking you until you are destroyed, because you didn't pay attention to what Yahweh your God said, observing his mitzvah and regulations that he gave to you. These curses will be on you and your descendants as a sign and a wonder forever, because you didn't serve Yahweh your God with joy and gladness in your heart when you had such an abundance of everything. Yahweh will send your enemy against you, and you will serve him. When you are hungry, thirsty, poorly clothed, and lacking everything, he will put a yoke of iron on your neck until he destroys you. Because you didn't serve Yahweh your God with joy and gladness in your heart when you had such an abundance of everything. Okay, now we pretty much go to the Hebrew roots here. Okay, Hebrew roots, they don't have joy and gladness in their hearts when they serve Yahweh, because they don't serve Yahweh. They don't serve him. They serve themselves. They're basically Christians wearing tallit, you know, and they talk about Torah, but then they teach about Talmud, you know. It becomes legalism when you do it out of a sense of duty or obligation, as opposed to doing it out of love for the Father and the Son when you obey the mitzvah. You know, you could obey till you're blue in the face. If you're not doing it because you love the Father and the Son, you're wasting your time, you know. Yes, Yahweh will bring against you a nation from far away that will swoop down on you from the end of the earth like a vulture. A nation whose language you don't understand, Chinese. A nation grim in appearance, whose people neither respect the old nor pity the young, China. They will devour the offspring of your livestock and the produce of your soil until you have been destroyed. They will leave you without grain, wine, olive oil, or your young cattle and sheep.
Computer standing by.
Until they have caused you to perish. They will besiege all your towns until your high fortified walls in which you have trusted collapse everywhere in your land, which Yahweh your God gave you. Then, because of the severity of the siege and distress that your enemies are inflicting on you, you will eat the offspring of your own body, the flesh of your own sons and daughters, whom Yahweh your God has given you. Even the most gentle and sensitive man among you will be without pity for his brother, his beloved wife, or his surviving children, to the degree that he will refuse to share with any of them the flesh of his children, whom he is eating. Because if he did, he would have nothing left for himself. In the severity of the siege and distress your enemies are inflicting on you in all your towns, the most delicate and sensitive woman among you, so sensitive and delicate that she wouldn't even think of touching the sole of her foot to the ground, will so begrudge her own beloved husband, son, and daughter, that she will secretly eat the afterbirth that comes out of her, and even her own children as she bears them. So desperately hungry will she be, and the severity of the siege and distress of your enemies are inflicting on you in your own towns. Are you seeing this? I mean, we have a shot right now to turn this whole thing around, okay? We do. We have a chance right now to turn it all around and to bring this country back to its former greatness. But it's not great without Yah's blessing, and we're not going to get Yah's blessing if our hearts are turning away from him. If our hearts are turning away from Yah, then we might as well kiss this country goodbye. You know, I'm serious. We might as well kiss the United States of America goodbye as long as the majority of people are turning their hearts away from Yah. People were doing good going to church because at least that's a stepping stone to true faith. You know, they have the ability to actually start searching the scriptures themselves and praying and everything and building on that relationship with Yah and eventually leave that church and go above and beyond it. Okay, but people are leaving churches, well, probably because Yah is pouring his spirit out on people, at least in small increments, and people are actually seeing that the church is like a bunch of garbage now. Okay, they're all about money, they're all about business. You know, that's it. But if people, I'm talking individually, turn to Yah, study his word, study the Torah, start obeying what he says. Okay? Start obeying what he says, what he's commanded for us to do, then we can enjoy the fruits of the covenant. If we don't do what he says to do, we do not enjoy the fruits of the covenant, which means we get all this. You know, I mean, I could go on and on and on with the plagues. I could go on and on and on with what Yahweh said he would do. And he doesn't change. He doesn't change. He might change his mind once in a while. Like when it came to killing the Israelites and starting a new nation with Moshe. Moshe talked him out of it. He changed his mind. But of course, I think he was testing Moshe. You know, that's what I think he was doing. But we have to understand that Yah loves us. He doesn't want us to be destroyed. But if we're going to continue to move away from him and to ignore him and to disobey him, he has to discipline us. He has to smack us down. He has to knock us down a few pegs. He does have to humble us. Okay? If we are not going to humble ourselves, he will humble us. You know, so for anybody in this country, in the United States of America and around the world, turn to Yah, open up your scriptures and actually start reading, obeying what the commands say. If Yah says do this or don't do that, if it applies to you directly, okay, because a man can't do what's commanded for a woman can't do what's commanded for a man, okay, but you know, if it's written for you, if it applies to you directly, obey it, do it. Keep praying, keep praying, keep praying, and keep praying. Don't trust any man to teach you the word, teach you the meanings of the word or anything like that. Okay? Don't even trust me. I'm telling you. Because the only teacher is Emmanuel, the Messiah himself. All right? Just remember, seek first the kingdom of heaven, all of his righteousness, and all these things will be given unto you. Take care, folks. I look forward to the next time.